Twitter.
All right, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Douglas Show, Friday edition, where we take you inside the command center and get you close to the team as we can. Today, from the urban sports scene, one of my favorites, Wale. What's going on?
Ain't that much, man. You one of my favorites too. So this is mutual love right now.
There we go. It's been a couple of years now since we've been doing these things back and forth.
I know, man.
It has been my great pleasure to get to know you over the years. How is your Christmas coming along, my friend?
Man, it's coming along well, man. I did all my Christmas shopping. Usually I'm a last minute shopper, so I did some shopping today. So I got that out. For my girl, I did that pretty early because last year I tried to shop for her kind of last minute. It didn't work out for me. So I was like, let me shop for her a little early and stick with my routine for my family. So I did that. And I knocked everything out. So my nieces, my nephews, they're all good now.
Now, see, we did the nieces and nephews a while ago.
Okay.
My wife and I, as grown adults, don't buy each other presents anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We just buy whatever we want during the year, and whatever. But I don't know. Maybe that's like the last stage of adulting. Maybe your beard's not quite white enough yet.
Man, I need that. I need that. Hey, I need that for my little sister. She needs to be on that tip too. Like my brother and I, we're on that tip. We don't buy each other nothing. My little sister,
correct, right?
She's like, "Hey, I need a gift." Even my mom is like, "I need a gift," and I'm like, "Come on now."
Moms are the worst to get gifts for. My mom doesn't need anything, and it's like I spend 2 months trying to figure out what on earth I'm gonna get my mom. I need to do what she does. She strokes me a check and says, "Have fun." And I go, "Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, that sounds good." But you can't stroke moms a check. She does. They don't get down like that.
They don't get down like that. Not at all. I'm with. They do not get down like that. I actually wanted to give her a gift card. She was not for it. She wasn't for that life
at all. And to your point, my wife and her brother and sister still exchange gifts. My brother and I haven't exchanged in Lord 20 years probably.
Yeah, my brother and I stopped. Once we started working years ago at this like an amusement park called Jeepers. We were like, you know what? We make money now. Like, I don't gotta get you anything. You don't gotta give me anything. We're good. We're just exchanging gifts. We're exchanging pretty much the same thing. What are we doing here?
That's right. just buy yourself something nice.
Yeah, exactly.
And say thank you from me. That's what I like to see. All right, Wale, we're out in San Francisco. I'm gonna hit this retweet button. Listen, let's do this. Let's do this first. The game against the Giants was brutal.
Yeah.
And it felt like they hit me with the whammo bammo, you know what I mean? Because I really thought this team had what it took at home in prime time to really send a message to the league that, hey, we're here and can scrap with the best of them. And that's what I think they do, right? I mean, that's what they got to do. This team is not blowing people out of the water. They have a hard time getting in the 20s, but they scrap.
Yeah.
And they deserve credit for that. And you can win that way.
Yes, you can.
Now, the margins get smaller on how you win that way. But the team showed they could do it. And on Sunday night, they embarrassed me personally. Like that, allowing that last drive. I mean, 10 yards a pop from Saquon Barkley, 3 in a row in the fourth quarter. I mean, come on now. That's not how you do it if you're going to hang your hat on defense.
Yes.
What were your thoughts after the game? Obviously disappointed, but angry, sad, mad, expected it. Maybe you expected it. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't expect that. I was fooled. That was my thing. I was fooled, and I was annoyed, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did my show and I kept my composure, like the post game, kept my composure. But I was really annoyed, man. Like I just couldn't believe that you put in that effort. Like no, I don't. Like it's after a bye, you played the same team. Like
they're awful after bye too.
After the bye, like this is the same team you played prior to the bye. So you had a whole week to compare for a team you just played. So you're familiar. You're even it's the division game. You're more familiar with this team. And this team was missing. They were missing players on defense. Like that secondary.
That Giants team is terrible.
It's terrible. It's not a good team at all. And you struggle. And that's the thing. Like I get. Like yes, I was pissed off at the calls too. Like you see me tweeting about officiating, whatever. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't even got to that point. That's what I tell. Like that's why I don't blame the officials. To me, it shouldn't even got to that point. That they did a horrible job. They should be people that they should be questioned for that officiating. But in terms of the Commanders, what they could have controlled, like they shouldn't even got that close. They should have dominated that game. You had Brian Robinson averaging 7 yards a pop. Like the defense, like I agree with you, Doug. Like the defense only gave up 13 points, really.
Correct.
Right. But I do agree with you. Like you were too passive. Like you're so passive against Daniel Jones. Like you're letting them move up the field where you should be if you hang your hat on defense, you should take this victory. Like your defense should take this victory. It shouldn't be playing back. Like you mentioned that last drive, Saquon Barkley getting 10 yards. You allowed them to get the field goal range. You know what I mean? You're supposed to stop that to a point where now you can allow your offense to not just try to get a touchdown and 2-point conversion. No, now they have an opportunity to score. They win the game. Like as a whole, to me, this team underachieved. Like, yeah, the defense gave up 13 points, but I didn't want 13. I thought you should gave up 10 or fewer. You know what I mean? Like they had no weapons to fear you. Like we talk about, this is the team that the Eagles, the only team that beat the Eagles, a healthy Eagles squad. And that offense is dynamic. You see what that offense has done to multiple teams, and they have and that defense did their job against that offense. So I'm just saying, like, I was annoyed, like so annoyed. I'm still kind of annoyed at that game because to me, to be honest with you, if I have to keep it all in 100, that crippled my playoff chances to me. Like that's a game you had to win. Like Jonathan Allen knew that. That's why he was trying to get people to the game. Like these players knew that. They knew the importance of that game. And to come out with that effort annoyed the bejesus.
Well, I was going to say, John can say whatever he wants to about filling the stands, but you know why the stands don't get filled? Because on games like that, they don't show.
Yes, agree.
That's why.
I agree.
And that's the players can say whatever they want, and I agree with them. It would be nice to see that stadium slammed with nothing but burgundy and gold. But the fact of the matter is, they let you down, and that's why people don't want to pay $200 to go sit in the cold and watch a product that, quite frankly, was mediocre at best.
And Doug, they did show up. That's the thing that messed it up. They showed up.
It sounds
and then you did this. And then you did this. So don't expect them to show up again. Like that's my thing. Right. Like they showed up for you, and then you put out that. Like that's the problem to me. Like that game represents so much bad for this team. Like if you want people to come back, like it hinders that for Cleveland. For Cleveland, whatever happens this game for Cleveland, now people are gonna be like, don't want to come. Do I want to come for that home game against Cleveland? I don't know. Even the Cowboys game, you don't know. Like so to me, like that what that game represented, like fans showed up for you, and you put out that type of performance.
You know what that game represented was like the last 5-6 years of our fandom.
Yes.
They've had plenty of opportunities to get us excited, and they have. And it's why guys like my brother don't get excited anymore.
I agree.
And people get upset, like, "Oh, how could you do that? How you could be a fan?" Well, because we've been beaten and battered.
Yeah.
And like, and that's why, and I love the word you use, disappointed, because I had my hopes really high. And now look at the Giants. I mean, you don't see playoff scenarios with the Giants, right? Because they're in. They're in. And that was us.
Yes. And like you said, they're a bad team. I'm sorry. That Giants team is not a good team. And that's what makes it so hurtful. Like you're on prime time and you were able to do things offensively. We saw it. Like there was so many things we could have done offensively. Like so many people were open in that game. You know what I mean? Like there's so many points that were left off the board. And like just for that to happen, it was too much for me, man.
I say this consistently on this program. They may be the best team in the league between the 25s.
Maybe.
I now have the numbers. I haven't crunched them. My normal number guy, Nate Coleman, is in Djibouti, Africa, serving our country. So he hadn't been able to sort the numbers out. Shout out, Nate. But they're great. They can't score points.
Yeah,
now, the league built on scoring points. They average 17.
It's just tough, man. It really is. I feel like I know that like with with this quarterback, it's harder for him to score once he gets to the red zone. It's harder for him to score because we watch football. All of us watch football, and when you get to the red zone, you gotta fit the ball in thin windows and whatnot. And sometimes you need the arm strength to do that. At times, it's not. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to scheme that. If you don't have the arm strength, then the coordinator they have to scheme it up. But 9 times out of 10, when you're in that particular position and you're throwing the football, you need arm strength to get it through small windows, and it's a hindrance.
It's a great point that you bring up, and I'm going to come to your rescue before the hive comes and tears you apart.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
People don't understand the concept, I think, well enough of what arm strength is.
Yes.
Like every quarterback in the league can get out there and pump the ball 60 yards down the field.
Yeah.
You and I can go out there and pump the ball 50 yards down the field if we're just going out there and winging it.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
I don't know.
I can.
I can't do. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I can't go lie. I ain't gonna lie.
But all those guys can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about 40 of the best quarterbacks in the world.
Yes.
That's not it. It's the out routes.
Yes.
It is getting the ball there in 5 yards in half a second.
Yes.
That's what the guys with laser beams have.
Yeah.
That unfortunately is not what Heineke has. What frustrates me about Heineke is the whole point of Heineke was supposed to be how well he knew the system.
Yes.
And how well he could get us through it. That's not what happened on the 8-yard line when he double patched the ball and takes the sack fumble and gives up a touchdown. Like that, like he's supposed to do that. Get that ball out.
Yep.
Because like Leno, the guy. Okay, so Thibodeau runs right by Charles Leno, right?
Yes.
And people will say that's on Leno.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But you know what happens if Leno puts his arm out and grabs that guy?
Holding.
In the end zone.
Yep.
And then it's a safety.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's all part of the nuance of the position that Heineke has to be better at. And for those that forget, this ain't his first year in the league.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, we're not supposed to be going through rookie growing pains with him. He should already have the system down. Now let's talk about the system.
Yeah.
You are not a fan of the system and the guy that calls play. Or maybe that's not fair. Maybe you are a fan of the system and just not a fan of the guy that calls the plays.
A little bit of both.
We disagree. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
You do not like Scott Turner as the play caller.
No. I don't think it's a good feel.
Okay. So is your problem with Turner game feel, or is it the actual system that's being run?
Feel. Because I don't have an issue with the system.
So you think guys are wide open all the time in the system.
The guys are open. It's not the issue. It's the feel of games. It's just like when you're playing chess. It's when to do something, when not to do it. It's not that he doesn't have people open. I don't ever make that argument because people are open. I think anybody can, like, the truth. It's a fact. People are open. But there's also, like, you coach to what you have. So to your point, like Taylor, the same thing with Carson Wentz. He holds the ball. So you're going to have to kind of do certain things to kind of like avoid that from happening, right? And so you may have to run the football a little bit more because this is a new system for Carson Wentz. So he's still trying to take things in. So you may have to do some things to simplify things just for Carson Wentz. So I'm not saying the system's an issue because I think if you watch it, if you go to the games and you watch the video, people are open. You know what I mean? But then it go for Taylor Heineke. So I don't want to see I don't want to see a no back set with a Taylor Heineke. I don't. I'm not gonna lie to you because he does hold the football. Like he holds the football. Like that's the thing I don't. Well, I agree with you, Doug. Like I have an issue with is that because this is the talk about the rookie situation where we talk. When I talk about at the time I was talking about Sam Howell, and people are like he's a rookie. He doesn't know the system. And that's like okay. But you know what I don't like is when your veteran quarterback is making rookie mistakes. Then I have an issue with that. Like to me, then your argument about he's a rookie. Well, you have a vet who knows the system and who's making rookie mistakes, who's holding on to the football. You know what I mean? Who's throwing passes that can be picked, who's throwing up passes that you're like, where is that at? Like, who's open? Like, that's your vet. So, but it goes, but going back to Turner, it's more of when to call a certain play, when to run a certain play. Like, if it's 3rd and 3 and you're going to run the football, I'm cool with giving the ball to dudes averaging 3 yards of carry. I mean, 7 yards of carry in Brian Robinson Jr. Like if you're gonna run that play, if you're gonna do something with Samuel, I would do it more outside, like a pitch or something. Like again, it's just like I'm not having him run in the tackle with because you're gonna need some physicality, and you know what I mean. Like at least the way in that game was going, you could run Brian Robinson Jr. and probably if you don't get the first down, you're probably gonna get 2, and then you can go for it on 4th and 1.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. It's all about feel. Like feel is the feel of the game. Are plays open? Yeah, their plays open. I'm not gonna say was it the flea flicker was open. Like it was a play if he just let
Yes.
him. But his arm strength isn't, not arm strength, but he didn't make the pass. So it's not. I'm not saying plays aren't open. It's just that it's when to call it. The same thing we see with like the good ones with Kyle. Kyle will know the guy to worry about the guy that commanders are going to play. He's setting you up for a certain play. He may run this play all the time, and then all of a sudden, boom, he plays something off of that where he sucks the defense in, and boom, he has this big play. It's all about when to call a play.
And not in fairness, but I'll say this. One of the things that I don't like about Turner is, like you mentioned, the Samuel run. Well, that worked 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they brought it back. Well, I'm sure the defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale for the Giants, said, well, shit, they busted us like 3 times with this Samuel run.
Yes.
Not this time. We've watched the tape and we're going to stop it. So what would have been nice there was like a fake to Samuel.
Yes.
Fake him the ball. And we saw that too. That's the other thing that I'm very concerned, surprised maybe is a better word, with Heineke. He's not really running. Like he doesn't.
I know why.
He doesn't read the RPO very well. That is a talent that I don't think many like casual fans understand. He doesn't see when to hold and when to go. He's not fast enough reading it. He had a couple of opportunities to get big chunks and just won't do it.
But why do you think that? I'm asking you a question. Why do you think that? Why do you don't think he doesn't run the ball? Because I have a thought why he doesn't run the ball.
I have 2 thoughts.
All right, I want to hear.
One is, he's living the dream.
Okay.
Right? Don't want to get hurt.
There you go.
But I also think his in-game bonuses at this point are like $180,000. At least $180,000.
Okay.
So you're also turning down a bag every game you can't play.
Yeah.
I think those are the 2 things. I think that maybe they said to him when Carson was hurt, like, listen, we can't afford to lose you right now. I think he knows that he can't, like, this is it. He is trying out just like everybody else. Yeah. And then again, he's getting stroked a check after every game. And I would imagine that's the biggest thing, right? Because
that last play showed me a lot. The play there on the sideline, we had that touchdown right there. He had it. He had that touchdown. He had it. It showed me a lot because he chose it. He stumbled, right? They say he stumbled, but because he was going pylon, but he didn't have to. He can cut it in with an easy touchdown. But there would be more contact. There would be some contact, but he would lean over. He would get in. He would definitely get in. I was like, you know what? He's not trying to lose this job on injury.
It feels like it. Yep.
He's not trying to lose because that was an easy touchdown for him. That was his speed.
Which is unfortunate because it's one of those things. It was one of the things that he does that we need.
Yes. It was an easy touch, like that. Forget like getting into a situation where that bogus call, but that's an easy touchdown.
2 bogus calls.
Yeah, 2 bogus calls. Excuse me, but it's an easy touchdown. Easy, but I was like, when I saw it, I was like, okay, you don't want to get hurt.
The ref had his hand on that yellow flag, ready to throw it. Did you notice that?
He did, and that's
like he literally like.
Yes,
had holstered up that thing and was ready to draw.
That's why I'm like, when you get video like that, this is my problem. You get video like that, like he needs to be one. This is one. He needs to be fined or suspended.
Suspended.
It needs to be one or the other, and it needs to be addressed. It's just bad. It's a bad PR look. It needs to be addressed. Like the game is over. We're like as fans, we lost out of it. All right, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. But it needs to be addressed though. Like I feel like. By keeping quiet, I know after the game, the ref was like he made the right call. The head ref was like he made the right call or whatever. He didn't see the tape. He was right after the game. But when you see the tape,
his head's
you look at it, it's a bad look. I'm sorry. And then you got people, ex-officials coming out saying that was a bad call. Both calls were horrible. Like they go through it and break it down to you to let you know like this is not called. This should not be called. Like the NFL. Or the representative of the officials needs to speak out and say whatever they want to say. They got to come out and defend that or go against that one way or the other.
They also need, and this is an NFL problem. There are a couple of things with the NFL that disturb me. One of them is that we don't have full-time NFL officials.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid. That's it. That's their only job to be studying tape, getting it right. They change the rules too many times from year to year. So it's tough on the refs. The ref obviously didn't want to end the game or change the game. But the point was made all week long. If you're going to call it in the first quarter, then you got to call it in the fourth quarter. Rules are rules. The other one is playing surfaces. It drives me crazy that every field isn't the exact same with natural turf. They could afford to do it. They don't want to pay it.
I will say this about that pass. I know people saying they don't want to end it, but that was a horrible one. Like there's levels to pass interference and not call. You can't grab a dude throughout the whole process
4 times.
4 times, hold him again on the catch. Like I get if you're early a little bit early, then I get that. But you're grabbing his arm so he won't catch the ball. Like that's different. Like that's like that should be called. Period. I don't care if you don't want to end it off the whistle. There's certain pass interference calls where you're like, all right, that's not a horrible call. Like it's pass interference, but it's not the worst one in the world. Like that's one of the worst ones in the world. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the bad ones. So you end it like that's one of the ones that like you call anytime. Period. That's one of the obvious ones. You know what I mean? And to me, that's my issue with that PI. Like it's an obvious PI. Like on any level, it's a PI that you would end the game on. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
I totally agree. Post game, they talked a little bit about the lack of carries for Brian Robinson in the second half. And it's fair. The number is weirdly low, but I'm assuming you did. I definitely went back and rewatched the game a couple of times. It didn't feel egregious though. You know what I mean? Like the game flow was going well. I mean, you remember that first drive they had in the second half.
Yeah.
They rolled right down to Jahan Dotson and scored. And the second point in the 2-point conversion was good. Now we could argue whether it was too early in the game to go for 2 points.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, in the third quarter, when they got started, I mean, they hustled them down the field and scored.
They did.
And they got a couple of runs to Brian Robinson, and then the same thing happens. They get like these crazy penalties, and it backs them up. I mean, how many times on a third? And here's the thing: more than Brian Robinson to me is they went 1 for 11 on third down.
Yeah,
1 for 11. You're not going to win any football games going 1 for 11 on third down and no turnovers.
Yeah. I think it gets to a point where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Like I know the Giants had weapons to throw the football, but I make the argument like this: like if you're more run heavy, you don't probably throw the ball on that when you empty the set with 5 wide receivers and had to get that sack. Like you would probably run the ball. You know what I mean? Like that's my thing. It's like you run the ball. Yeah, I mean you're right. They did move. If you look at it for what it is, like they threw the football in the second half, and they were getting plays, man. They would get some chunk plays, and I think it was Scott. I want to say Scott. I think it was Scott Turner on the presser said that we were getting plays that we normally weren't getting throughout this, this winning streak. So it was like to me, it was like, yeah, I was able to throw the ball. We're not getting these type of aerial plays, so I wanted to go this route. So, but at the end of the day, like you're winning this way. It's the same reason. I'm gonna say it's the same reason why you play Taylor Heineke. I'm gonna be real with you. Like it's like you in a casino, right? You're always betting 7 and you hitting 7 24/7. You're not going to bet on. I mean, say 7. You 7. That's a bad one. You're betting 6 and you hitting 6 24/7, right? You hitting 6 24/7. You're not going to if you're hitting 6 for 10, like 5 in a row. You're not going to go try to go 10. You're going to stick on that 6 because you're hitting 6 20. You're hitting 6 nonstop. So it gets to a point where like Taylor Heineke, you've been winning football games. So it'd be stupid for you to go to Carson Wentz because you're winning. You're on a winning streak. Yeah, right. So same thing. If you're Scott Turner, if you're winning this way and running the football, you might as well stay this way and run the football. You know what I mean? Like, because you're winning. Yes, it's not sexy. And I know as an offensive mind, you want to do other things, but this is how you've been winning football games. You have limited the teams like the Giants or whatever, limited the Giants, anybody in this winning streak, you've been limiting their opportunities to make points on your defense. Now, granted, I do kind of understand where he's coming from and throwing the football because you were down, but you're from behind. And when you're from behind, you tend to think you want to throw the football because that fumble sets you back. But yeah, it gets to a point where when you got it close enough, you should still be able to run the football because then you got to believe you're going to score running the football, and then you're going to limit the Giants from even trying to do anything offensively.
We go from our coordinator to maybe the best play caller in all the league this Saturday. They're not loaded, right? I mean, it's Ayuk and then not a whole lot else because
McCaffrey,
Debo will be out. That's the thing.
That's the one.
That's the thing. I talked
and Kittle too. And Kittle too. I'm gonna get Kittle.
Of course, Kittle. Yep.
Yeah.
I talked to the host of the 49ers Rush podcast. They do a really good job over there, by the way. And every Wednesday I ask the guy that comes on the show, what is the key to victory? And he said, interestingly enough, the defensive tackles up the middle are not good at run stopping. So that makes me feel good about our chances.
That's good.
The weapons are out. Debo won't be playing. The problem is I don't know who we have personally that's going to check McCaffrey because they move him everywhere.
Out the backfield.
Yeah.
You mean on the passing game? Yeah, he's a
problem.
Yeah,
I mean it'll be 52 on the wheel route, right?
Yeah, 52 on the wheel route.
And that makes me nervous.
I think 52 will do. I think 52 will be. He'll get beat sometimes, but I think he'll do okay at times. It depends on. I'm hoping. Well, I'm hoping Curl is healthy because I think I can see Curl taking him out the backfield. I can see him doing that. If that happens, I'm kind of comfortable with Curl. But then also Curl guards tight ends pretty well too, so I kind of would want him on Kittle because he does tight ends pretty well. So that's what makes it complicated. It's Kittle and McCaffrey scare me because I don't know. Because if I put Curl on Kittle, then to your point, 52 has to be on McCaffrey, and that scares me. But I definitely don't want 52 on Kittle. Like I know that for a fact. I don't want 52 on Kittle. There's no knock on him. I just don't want him on Kittle.
And they also have Force they can bring down too.
Yeah, I know you can bring him down, but I think Force will probably pick more back end. You could do that, but I think Force will be because they don't want to give big plays. So it's a lot. It's scary. It is. It's very scary. It's a scary situation.
It's been interesting, Wally, because you and I talked about this before the season ever started. That they needed a free safety, that they'd be better off. At the time, we had thought maybe it'd be better to move Fuller inside so that you could get your two press mans outside.
Yeah.
They've obviously moved on from that. They find, it's funny, they get forced to do things. I say this all the time, right? Like for 2 years, you and I talked about Benjamin St-Juste being best outside.
Yes, best outside.
They were forced to move him outside. They had no choice.
Yes.
Always McCain. They picked up McCain from the Miami Dolphins, who was one of these guys that was moved all over the place. Best suited for the nickel. They didn't have anybody else. They never got him in the nickel. Finally, it feels like they've got guys at the right spot. Just funny that it wasn't their intentions to do it.
Not at all. And to get them wrong, like I like the way the secondaries played. When healthy.
Great.
It's just that. Like this is a bad matchup, though. I'm not gonna. In certain situations, it's a bad matchup. I think outside not having Debo, the wide receivers don't scare me. Ayuk can do some plays. I'm not gonna knock Ayuk. He can make some plays. But what scares me is what you're talking about. Is McCaffrey as a receiving back, and then Kittle. Like those two, I'm gonna say this. 52 guy is gonna have to get his big boy pants and just try to check McCaffrey and do the best he can. He's gonna have to have the game of his life. I'm a believer in 52. I'm a believer in Jalen Davis.
Too.
So I think you have to have the game of his life because that's a tough cover for anybody. Even if you elite for the elite ones, that's a tough cover. But I think he's got the speed to be up for the task, right? He has the speed to be up for the task. And then it's important for Cam Curl to be healthy. It's essential for him to be healthy this game.
I think they need St. Juice healthy too.
That too. They need him too. But I think they need St. Juice. But I think this is Cam Curl can't miss this game. Like St. Juice, it's important for him to be there. But I thought Danny Johnson did a job stepping up in his absence.
He was great.
But it's essential for what the Niners do for Cam Curl to play. It's essential.
Interesting how similar these two teams kind of are. You know what I mean? Like they want to get the run game going. They've got a great defense. One of the interesting things that Chapman told me on Wednesday was, and this is one of the things that makes me nervous, the 49ers haven't played in any close games.
Yeah, they blow.
They've either blown people out or they've gotten blown out.
This is true.
And we're not good at blowing people out.
Exactly.
Which makes me nervous.
This is very true. This is a very tough team.
This is a tough team, man. It's not great for them, though. They're kind of like us. Their offensive line was supposed to be good. McGlinchey at right tackle has been trashed. The center and left guard, I believe, are both rookies or one-year guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Trent Williams is still playing the best ball of his career. I mean, just incredible.
He's Trent, man. He gets better every year, man. He's Trent. He's Trent.
Makes me sad to read that article. You know that he was willing to come back.
I know he was. I knew he was willing to come back. I know he was. I'm not gonna say it. You know what?
Tell him.
Trent should be a Redskin commander easily. He should. This is what Trent should not. That was the worst. That was the worst trade in football. One of the worst trades in football history. Why I say that is that you just gave up a generational tackle, right? This dude has been dominant since he's been in DC, and he's in his 30s now, and still one of the best, and probably he is the best left tackle in football. Yeah. When you're not supposed to be at that level, he is still at that level. You gave up a third. Was it? You got what? You got a third round.
Either a third or a fourth. It wasn't a lot.
For arguably one of arguably the best left tackle of his generation. Think about that. Not a right tackle, a left tackle.
And not Trent at 40.
Not right? Turning 40. Like,
Trent.
Yes, this is like, this one, like, I know. So that's all I'm saying. Like, yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna stick to the topic.
Is there real quick? I want to ask you this before we move off of Trent. We were talking about this on Wednesday's show. Is there another position where one guy is so far out in front of the rest of the group?
And it was for us.
No, just in the league. Like who is second? The second best left tackle in the league. To me, Trent is so much farther ahead than that guy. So like, who's the best receiver? The second best receiver in that far off. Who's the best, safety? The next guy in that far off. To me, there is Trent Williams and then a big gap to whoever it is.
It used to annoy me when people wanted to say that old boy from the Cowboys is better than Trent. And what to me, he wasn't.
No. Or the guy that I forget his name now, the guy that the Seahawks drafted right there. Remember, there were two of those tackles.
Yeah. They
and everybody was debating over the two, and the guy from the Seahawks went out for a while.
Which I'm with you. You're right. There's no. Yeah, you're right. I would make the argument. Yeah, there's nobody, because I think Sauce Gardner may be the best cornerback in football. But I would make that argument. Yeah, Trent. By far, I would say it's Trent. There's nobody.
And he's got another decade left if he wants it. He's got another decade if he wants it. Like tackles could play a long time.
Yeah, but he's not,
because they're not asked to do a ton. I mean, that sounds crazy. Say they're not asked to do a ton.
If he can stay healthy, he can do. Yeah. It's what it's about. You're right, and he's still agile. He's still one of the best athletic tackles in football. Like, I'm gonna say this. Like, it made no sense. Even if he, yes, I thought he wanted to be here, but even if he didn't want to be here, right? I'm not giving up third, fourth rounder for Trent Williams. That makes no sense. That's when that trade went down, and people were trying to make it seem like, they had to get something for Trent. I'm like, no. Like, when Ron Rivera, like when he made that trade, I was like, this is the worst trade ever. Like, and look at it now. Now look at it like it's the worst trade ever.
No, it'll go down. It definitely will go down as the worst trade. Now, there were other things involved, but it was ridiculous. Yeah. The other thing John Chapman told me on Wednesday, one of the keys to the game here is hitting deep shots to the outside, corner routes. Apparently, deep corner routes or something because they're down to their third and fourth corners too.
Yeah, but they got Ward, right? Ward looks. If you watched Ward,
I think Ward's out.
Ward's out.
I think. Let me see.
That's good then, because he was giving DK Metcalf some issues. That's good.
Yeah. No, I think he told me
he's out. That's good, man. That's good. If that's the case, it doesn't. We're talking about deep corners. You still need to have a particular quarterback to throw those deep corners that you're referring to. So, to throw deep corners, you're gonna have a.
What do you like? I know you sent it to me for the weekly pick'em, which people of next year will have to do more. A lot of people got jealous.
They like it. They like it.
Yeah. Which I just
people want to be a part of it, Doug. A lot of people want to be part of it.
The first 8 people that said yes, I sent out the first 8, but it's been a lot of fun. And I'm glad we've been doing it. So I know yours will come out, but go ahead and tell me now what you think the score is going to end up being.
I think it's going to be 24-17. I told you that in the chat when we were talking. I said that Carson
questionable for Chardavius Ward.
Yeah, questionable. Okay. And I think that Carson will play in the second half.
A lot of guys in the chat said that.
I think Carson plays. Because to be honest with you, this is no hate for the Heineke Hive. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. this defense is too fast and too fluent, and to me, it's not a good match for what Heineke does. And they're going to take away that run. Like they're going to. This is a defense that will take away that run. They will go. I think Grinch. Is it Green? What's how I say?
They're averaging 70 yards giving up on the ground.
Who's the Warner's there and Warner's back. I know. Is it Greenshaw?
Oh, Dre Greenlaw. Yeah,
Greenlaw's back.
Best linebacker tandem in the league.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to deal with that now, like because he's been out and he's back. So you're gonna go with those two. They're gonna take away the run. They're gonna do their best to take away the run. And then you watch that Seattle game. Kenneth Walker II has been doing damage in this league, and they shut that boy down. Yes. So they're gonna try to take away the run. They're gonna make Taylor Heineke try to beat him. So we've seen in games in the past that in that formula where you put Taylor Heineke out there to beat you, it doesn't always go the right way like you want it. You know what I mean? Like the Cowboys have done it last year, and he had issues with the Cowboys. So you're gonna get that type of play. And to me, if he starts turning the ball over, and I think if you read the underlying message what Coach Rivera stated after the game. When talking about Taylor Heineke, he made it seem like if Taylor Heineke didn't have that good second half start or getting that touchdown, right, he was thinking about benching Taylor Heineke. So that lets me know that he's got a short leash. So if he struggles early, you're going to see Carson. So I'm like, all right, if that's the case, I think you're 24-17 and you'll see Carson.
All right, my brother. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Much love.
Thank you, man.
Love having you on. And maybe I'll see you Saturday after the game.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
No problem.